What is up, YouTube? It's me, Jada, and welcome back to my channel.
How you did that? You put switches on all your blinkies. How you did that? Your LV back turned to a legit. How you did that? I seen that turn to a Louis. How you did that? That look like a brand new booty. How you did that? You got face.
So I'm really excited about today's video. I feel like it's very highly requested. We are going to be doing my makeup routine. I get so many questions about how I do it, what products I use. So we're going to go through all of that today. You guys are going to get to see all of my favorite products. You're going to get to see all the techniques that I use. So I'm really excited. Let's get into this. I'm going to go ahead and start off strong with primer. I have a few favorite primers, but I'm only going to be showing this one today because this is the one I'm going to be using. It is the Milani Green Goddess Glow Oil. I love this oil. I have oily skin, but this does not break me out. Usually if I put oil on my face, it breaks me out. But this is really, really good, feels really, really nice, and my makeup goes on smooth. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to do a couple of dots all over my face, and you do not need much. So once I finish priming, I go in with foundation. These two right here are my holy grail foundations. I personally even like it better than the mix that I made for myself because I could not find my shade. So we have the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. This is in the shade Latte. That one is a little brighter than me, but I mix it with the It Cosmetics CC cream in the shade Rich Honey. And when I tell you these two together, like chef's kiss. So usually I start off with Clinique and I just take it and I do like 4 dots, forehead, chin, under my eyes, and then I will go in with the CC cream in the surrounding areas. Now this is buildable, so usually I just do like a small layer first and then I go as I need. Now I'm going to use a beauty blender to blend in my foundation. I do wet this before I use it. I always wet my blender before I do my foundation. It just makes it a whole lot smoother and my makeup doesn't come out cakey. Now when I'm doing this step, I do try to avoid blending my foundation above my eyelid because I do like that natural like glowy look that it gives when I don't put product on my eye. So this is what it looks like once I'm finished with that and it's all blended out. Now I'm going to move on to concealer. So for concealer, I have the Dermablend Cover Care. Dermablend is really, really good for coverage. I love this brand for coverage. It can cover up almost anything. We're just going to put this under my eyes. We're going to put a little on my chin and we are going to hit my forehead. And before I blend out my concealer, I like to go ahead and do my contour. I use cream contour and powder contour, but I like to do my cream contour before I blend out my concealer. So for the cream, we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Foundation Stick. This is in the shade Ebony. I love this foundation stick. As you can see, like, it's about gone. I'm gonna use this thing till it's nothing. This is a really good contour. So I like to take this around my nose and just create the shape that I want. And then I like to drag it up into my eyebrow. I don't put anything on my eyebrows, I just drag my contour up like this. It kind of looks like a lot, but it'll start to get better like once you keep blending it out. Alright, contour is done. Well, the cream contour anyway. So this is where I start to blend out my concealer. So we're just gonna take this brush and just blend it out. And I try to avoid getting any concealer above my lip. I like to keep that area blank. I just found, you know, throughout my time of figuring out what I like and don't like in my makeup, it looks better when I don't conceal above my lip. Okay, now it's time for the powder contour. For powder contour, I use the It Bye Bye foundation powder. This is actually not the shade that I use, but I'm showing this one because my other one, the lettering is scratched off, and I wanted you guys to be able to see like what it looked like. This one is in the shade Rich. I believe it's a little lighter than the one that I typically use. So I'm gonna get my other one. So I found my other one. As you can see, these are two totally different shades. So this one is the one that I typically use for contour. This one is in the shade Rich Honey. But as you can see, the lettering is like completely scratched off. So I've got my brush here, and what I like to do with this, I take it on the sides of my forehead to kind of blend that concealer out, and also give me a little bit of a sunburnt look. Not sunburnt, but suntan. We don't want to look sunburnt. And then I like to take this also right here, cheekbones, and it also helps blend out that line where I was blending out my concealer. Look at that base. So once we do all of that jazz and we're all contoured up and everything is looking good, I like to set everywhere that I put my concealer. If you didn't notice, I didn't set any of my concealer yet. So we're gonna go through and do that, but make sure you always like blend under your eyes before you set, because you don't wanna have any creases. Now, in my case, it's not really gonna matter, and you'll see why later. But to set my face, I have two different palettes. So I have the Creolin Dual Finish palette. It comes with like 6 different colors. I usually take the lighter 3, and I go in with this one first to set my concealer. Then I go in second with the Carcelin Soft Focus Setting Powder. This just makes everything a lot more smooth, you know, covers any patches. Usually I don't have patches when using the other setting powder, but it just makes everything really smooth. So like I said, I'm just gonna dab into the first 3. I just mix them all. And then we are going to just press. And we're gonna repeat this in all the areas that I used concealer. Alright, now for my second powder, I do go in with a brush, a different brush, obviously, than the one I used to conceal. And I just go on top of everything with this to get it even more smooth. This is also really good for those areas that I need to set, but I don't want to take the color out of it. Once all those areas are set, I do go back in with my contour brush just a little. I don't add any product, I just use whatever's already there. And I just add back a little bit of color to, you know, make sure everything is blended well. A good part of getting a nice base is knowing how to blend and how to, like, you know, layer. Because if I would have just left that concealer right there and not put anything there, I would have this harsh white line and it would have just looked really crazy. This brings us to our next step, which is going to be my blush. I am using the Juvia's Place. It's a double blush, and one is a little bit darker and one is like really light, so I mix them so that, you know, I don't have a blush that's like super dark or one that's super light that you can barely see. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take some on my chin. We're going to go right here on my cheek, and we're going to try to keep it just in this area. It kind of blends with my contour, so I try to keep it a little more up here so my whole like face doesn't look orange. And I like to add just a dab around my forehead too, just to add some color back. We don't want to look flushed. I'm going to add a little blush to the bridge of my nose too, because I am going to be doing fake freckles. And a little trick, sometimes if my nose contour comes out a little too harsh, I will use the blush to go over it and tone it down, and it makes it perfectly fine. Now we're going to do one of my favorite steps of my whole makeup routine. It's the highlighter. I'm going to be using the Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Mine is a little bit dirty, but it comes with 4 different shades. I'm going to mix them all. So I just take my brush like this, I swirl it around, knock some of the debris off, and then we are going to use this on my chin, my cheeks, or cheekbone I should say, and right in the middle of my forehead. If you want a glow that's very natural, this palette is the way to go. I love this so much because I like, you know, more of a natural glow. I try not to go too harsh. Nowadays, I used to have highlight blindness. And I did go ahead and hit my brow bones with this too. Just went right there and kind of blended it out. But other than that, I don't put anything above my eyelids. So now we are going to go ahead and finish off and do my eyes. I'm going to show you guys how I do that. I have the Meet Matte Nude palette by The Balm, and I like to use this shade here, and usually either one of these browns I'll mix it with. It just depends on what the look is for the day. If I have like, if my hair is a lighter color, I typically go for the lighter shade. If my hair is darker, I'll typically mix it with like a darker brown. So I like to enhance this area here under my eye that looks a little bit puffy. So I just take this, I mix the two together, and then I'll take this like this. Let me get your images that last. Amex had a limit in the past. I had plenty women in the past. I done plenty sinning in the past. You don't need to know, but you can ask. Sticking on your backstage pass. For my lashes, I am going to be using lash clusters, so I will give you guys the lash map as I go. The first step is going to be to put on the bond. I don't know what I did with it. I just misplaced it, but I'm going to find it, and then I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Found my lash bond. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to apply it to the root of my lashes. And we're gonna do one lash at a time so that this doesn't like dry out. I want them to be kind of short and cute, so we're gonna start off with 14, and we're gonna put that on the end. I'm gonna grab my mirror because I need to be able to see. I'm gonna do another 14 right next to it. And then I'm gonna do two 12, so this is 12. And this is a 12. And then a 10. I got some on my eyelid. Usually I would go in with an 8, but I ran out of those. So I'm gonna see if I have any in another lash kit, but if not, I'm gonna have to make it work with another 10. So I wasn't able to find any shorter lashes for the inner corner, so I did have to take a 10 and kind of just put it at an angle, and then to make sure everything blended correctly, I added a second layer and I put 3 12s on top to blend everything out. Try to zoom in so you can really see. So just a quick recap on the lashes. I did 14 14, 12 12, 10 10 on the first layer, and then 12 12 12 10 on the second layer. I did 2 layers just to make sure everything blended, and now they're finished. So now we're gonna get into mascara. My mascara is Great Lash by Maybelline. Nothing too crazy. She gets the job done and she looks good doing it. So we're just gonna put this on my bottom lashes. Okay, mascara is done. Really quick, because I almost forgot this part. My fake freckles. Usually I do this before I do my eyes, but I use the LA Colors liquid eyeliner to do my fake freckles, and I just take this and dab a bunch of random dots on my face, and then I take my finger and press down and just spread it out in random spots. Now that that is done, we are approaching one of the final steps of my makeup routine. The next one is going to be the lip. I mentioned this before that I use the same palette for my eyes as I do my lip. I think I'm going to go with a lighter shade today. And I just take this and I go like that. And then you just create the shape. I had to find the brush that I actually use for my lip because it makes this step a whole lot easier and I'm less likely to mess it up. So the lip is finished. I already had a little lip gloss on, so I didn't add any more on top. This is the lip, and now I am just gonna take my setting spray. It's just a little cucumber setting spray. And that completes the final look. I'm gonna do a little showing of the final product. I did go and clean off my jewelry with a little Q-tip. So yeah, this is the final look. Thank you guys so much for watching this makeup tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to check out my last video. Bye. I get my shooter whack,